Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at HBAR. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go over the bullish count first, where we're actually looking at this potentially in A, looking for this as a B wave to the downside, and actually looking for this reversal to the upside for the C wave. So the current target of this as a 1-to-1 is actually up here at this 10 cent 80. Now, if we do see price actually look to push to the upside even higher towards this 1618, towards this 20 cent region, this would give us the potential of a third wave in this location. But obviously there's a lot of things that need to happen before we actually start looking at that. But it is technically a target that we could actually look to reach as long as we manage to hold this zone of the 0356. Now, we were talking about this potential of this being an A wave, this all being a B wave, and looking for the C wave. Now, it is possible that within this we can actually count a completed move, but we need to be cautious because really until we actually take these highs, particularly this one here of this 0540, there's no real confirmation that we've actually completed here, and we could actually just look to continue to extend. So we're going to go over that. Now, what I'd want to see for more confirmation is actually a move back above here past this 0779 region to actually take out this B wave, which means that we can't extend from that point any further. So that would be key if we are looking at this as potentially looking for a reversal to the upside. Now, if we were talking about this and we're saying that the C wave is potentially completed, the way that we would be looking for that within this structure would actually be treating this move in this way, where we would be saying that this move to the downside here is A, this is B, and then what we have here is a series of 1s and 2s at the top end of this, where this would be 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 into here, and then a triangle for a fourth wave and a fifth wave. Now, the problem I have with this count is, though this is technically possible, I would have liked to see this, if this is a triangle over here, a bit bigger, because this is quite a big wave up here, and this is similar in size, but it's not really as big as I would have preferred to see it. Though if we do get a move up past this B wave, then it would actually confirm this count to the downside, so we'd then be looking at this as a completed ABC. Now, we can never rule out the fact of continuation until we actually take this high. So primarily what I'm looking for is still that possibility of that upside, but we need to be aware of the bearish scenario, because if this is actually extending out and there's some extension in here, which we're going to go over in a second, what we could see is price actually continue to the downside. So within this bullish count here, we actually came down to this 0.854, and we have looked to hold this zone. Now, it has achieved 1-to-1, looking at this as ABC as well, towards the 0040 region. So what I'm looking for here is whether we actually start to move to the upside, and we could argue that within this we could be looking to actually look to break. And what I'm looking for here is we don't really have enough structure to confirm this yet. Now, what we'd be looking for in the shorter time frame here, if we're looking for that potential, is actually to maintain this 0399, and what I'd want to do ideally is actually maintain this area here of this 0411. Now, if we do actually see a push to the downside here one more time, we can see that we actually came down to the 0.382, but we could actually still get a 3-wave move to the upside here, failing to break above this 0453 and this high up here of this 058, and then actually look for this to continue down in either 3 waves, in which case we'd be targeting out this 0425, or alternatively, if we start to break down past this 0411 region, this could then tie in with that idea of this actually being a 5-wave move still looking to play out to the downside. So we're going to go over that bearish scenario, but technically speaking, we've hit that target area, so I am on the lookout for the potential of a reversal. If we do actually hold this as a corrective low here, and we form this as a 1-2, what this could mean is we could start to see price start to extend out from this point, where we don't actually see a move deeper down into these levels. But really, until we actually break this high, we need to just be cautious that this isn't going to just look to continue to the downside. So we're going to go into that more bearish count in a second, where we could still be looking for that downside. Now, if we do look at this from this current point, the 1-to-1 would actually be up here at the 0498, and then that 1.618, which would be looking for a third wave, would actually be up here towards this 0543. So if we do see price continuing to hold this low and then starting to push away, potentially we could start to look for this. Alternatively, if we do look to push down deeper, and we actually look to push down towards this 1-to-1 level down here, what we could actually see is our 1-to-1 come back into these highs at the 0488. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. Obviously, the deeper we go, the lower these targets become. So we need to just monitor the actual structure to the downside here. If we do get this bigger ABC pattern down towards a 0425, then potentially what we'd be looking for would be this 0488 and this 0531 as those two respective targets. As we discussed previously though, we need to be cautious, because if we're looking at this move in this way, we could also argue that we have a flat correction over here, which could actually mean that we still have a fifth wave to the downside. Now, what we'd be looking here for a potential target for this would actually be the 0285 to the 0194. So that would be looking at this as a fourth wave and then actually looking for this fifth wave to come down here. Now, we do have a long way to go to actually get there if this is the case, but for as long as this high remains in place here at this 1011, we could be looking for this continuation down. Now, what we'd then be looking for would actually be something along these lines, where this is actually a wave 1, 2, and then we're looking for this third wave confirmation by a big move down towards a 0293. So really, until we start to break above some of these highs here, we need to be aware of this bearish potential where we could actually still be within this third wave. Now, I'm going to come back down here into the smaller time frames, and we're going to go over some of those internal counts. Now, within this, what I'm looking out for is that within this structure, we could actually have started to extend out, where this third wave is actually looking to extend. So this looks very messy. We're going to go over it in a second. So what we're looking for is a series of 1s and 2s at the top end of here. So the key one that I'm looking for primarily to actually confirm this count is actually this white one here, where we would treat this as a 1, 2, and then we'd actually be looking for this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now, within this, what I would want to see is this 0464 maintain as a low here. We can't cross this if we want to look at this as a 1, 2 here. Now, if this is the case, we could then argue that we have another 1, 2 here, 3, 4, and then we're looking for this fifth wave. Now, the reason I don't like this as a count is because this fourth wave has actually come up towards a 0454, which is a 618 retracement. Though we could argue that because this is not that deep, we could actually say that, you know, this is fine. So just keeping an eye on this. If we do reject to the downside one more time, potentially what we could see is price actually come into this 1618 area here at this 0392. So actually the target would be a little bit lower down here towards the 0386. That would bring us past this 1.618, but we'd have to obviously monitor how exactly these waves come down. If we do come down to this 0392, what I'd then be looking for would be the potential of a fourth wave not crossing this 042 region, and then an additional fifth wave down here towards the 0383, this 0370. Then we'd be looking for the potential that within this structure, what we have is some additional waves to the downside, which could actually look to push us down all the way down to this area here of the 0276 to the 0241. Now, if I overlay that fifth, what we can see is that would mean we'd actually pass the 0293. So I'd be keeping an eye on this 1618 here. Obviously within this, you know, I'm using fibs to work out these extensions, but sometimes these might not go as high and they might not go as deep. So what we could actually see is some of these targets might get reduced, and where we're looking at this lower target here, over time we might get a shallower fourth wave, which means that our fifth wave is also shallower, and we actually look to rather, you know, complete it maybe towards this 3618 or closer down towards the zone of this 1618 over here, which would be the 0293. So that's going to be our key target for a confirmation of this. That would also look to break these lows, so going to be keeping an eye on that as a potential breakdown. Now, what we would need to do to actually invalidate this would be cross this wave 1 at this 0464, and then we'd want to start breaking above some of these key highs here, the 0540 and this zone here, this 0657, this high here of the 069, and then finally this high over here for more confirmation that we've actually completed. Somewhere within this move that I've counted to the downside here in the completed version, we haven't actually, you know, completed this. What we could actually see is we could potentially still find support lower down here at the 0372, though it would be quite a deep retracement then. So, you know, it starts to become less likely once we move down to these areas. However, we still do have this target box over here, which has got some naked points of control in it. We have actually taken out some of them, but towards this lower range of this 1236 area, we do still have 2 daily naked points of control sitting towards this zone here of this 371 and this 365, as well as this weekly one sitting towards this 0385 region. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. If we do actually look to push down here one more time, we'll be keeping an eye on this level of this 1236 here at this 0372 as a possible point we could look for a bounce. As well as those levels, what I'm keeping an eye out on this move to the upside here is that potentially If we do look to push up into this region here of the 0487 to the 0507, what we do have is actually we've got some naked points of control here on the daily. We also do have, and these ones are also particularly interesting here, with a weekly and a monthly one, which is sitting up here towards the 0524 to the 0522. So if we did see a bigger retracement up, and we actually still fail to take this high, what I'd be looking out for is a potential for a rejection of some of these levels, looking for price to come back up, actually sweep these, and then looking to continue to the downside. Another area of interest to me, if we do look to move down here, would actually be this value area low, which is sitting towards the zone of this 0288. So I'll be keeping an eye on this if we do actually look to extend out and we start to get that fifth wave to the downside. Potentially what we could see, we can see this actually aligns with this 1618 move here. So it would be interesting to see if we get a reaction of these levels. Alternatively, if we do look to push to the upside towards that 0600 area, I would also be looking out for the potential of a rejection of this point of control. If price does start to move back to the upside here, what we could actually see is price moving back above this point of control here, and then actually looking to possibly even come up here and retest this value area high. So that would be that bullish count where we're actually looking for that potential, you know, of a break to the upside here. So we'd be looking for that potential, you know, if we do look to push up higher here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that could potentially actually look to bring us up into that point of control. So I would be keeping an eye on this, obviously, as time goes by. Having a look at the weekly CPR here, we've actually come down past this target area of this R3 line. Now, what I'm looking for here is that potentially this could still act as resistance on the way up here. And if we do actually look to push up higher, we've got this R3 here at the 0448 region. We've got this 474 and this region here of this 487 as potential zones we could actually see resistance come in. As well as that, we do have these central CPR lines here. Now these will get a new set of lines printed tomorrow, so we'll have to keep an eye on these and see where the next ones are going to actually be. But what I'm looking for here is that potential that if we do actually even move up higher here, we could still look to face rejection of some of these previous zones. Alternatively, if we do look to push up in a bigger way, this 552 and this 565 are potential target areas. So looking at the monthly CPR, what we can see here is that we actually came down to this R2 line. Now, the fact that we've come down to this and find support, we're actually getting resistance of this R1 line. Now, what we could see is if price does continue to reject from this, we could actually start to see a breakdown and potentially come back down to this R2 or possibly even this R3, which is sitting here at this 311 region. So that would tie into actually coming back down in a much bigger way here, meaning that we're actually still extending out. So we'll have to keep an eye on that if we do start to break down in a bigger way. However, if we do start to break to the upside, I would be keeping an eye on this zone of this 0531 to this area here of this 0569 as a possible area we could actually see rejection or support come in if we do look to move up here. Possibly we could see that fourth and fifth play out in this zone if we look at this as a bigger extension to the upside in a 5-wave move. Alternatively, over the month, if we do start to see price move to the upside, this 0603 could be a potential target, this 0696 and this higher one here of this 0752 could all be potential targets if we do look to actually get back above these central CPR lines. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud here, what we can see is that we've actually rejected off the bottom end of this. Now, what I would want to see is if we're looking for that bullish case where we're looking at this as 1 and then looking for that potential of a wave 2, what I want to see is actually price maintain this low and then start to get back above this 1 hour cloud, getting this to start to turn green where this flips the other way around. Now, if that's the case, potentially what we could then do is find support above this cloud. Even if we do break to the upside, there is the potential to actually find support on these lines. So the up end of this cloud is the 0449, and then we have the lower edge here, which we've been rejecting off of towards this 0445. Now, if we come onto the 4 hourly, what we can see is we rejected off this baseline here. Now, if we do look to find support, what we could then do is actually look to push back up into the 4 hourly cloud, which is sitting towards this 495 and the top end of this 502. Alternatively, here, if we come onto the 8 hourly, we can see the conversion line here is the one that gave us some trouble. If we do look to push up some more, this baseline is actually sitting towards these lows here. So I'll be keeping an eye on this area of this 469. If we do look to push up higher into the cloud, we have this cloud currently sitting above us towards this 519, and the higher end of this would actually be this 577. So if we did see price develop into that bigger 5-wave move, what we could see is something along these lines where we see price break into the cloud, find support, retest the top, and then start to break back down for that bigger wave 2 afterwards. Now, if we come onto the daily here, we can see the cloud is actually building up quite a lot above us. So if we do see a 3-wave move into this cloud, we need to be careful of that potential of rejection. The conversion line is currently sitting at this 470, baseline 550, top of the cloud or bottom of the cloud towards this 608. Obviously, depending on how long this takes, this could mean we interact with the cloud in a different point, but the top of the cloud is also here at this 0744. So I would be just mindful that if we do see a 3-wave move into this cloud at any point, we could actually see this come in as resistance before looking for a reaction back to the downside. Now, it doesn't mean that we need to sell off and go lower than this point, for instance, but it could just mean that, you know, we actually see a rejection from that point before looking to challenge it again. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.